Evening, Killer Squad Manager. How are you?
Good, thanks. And you?
No, I'm well. I'm well. Um, we're in Game Week 34 now. We're moving towards the crunch time of the FPL season, and I see that you've freshened up your squad. You've targeted a lot of double game week players. And I know for a fact that you've used all your chips thus far. So, will you be taking any hits for this Game Week 34, and why, if you are?
Thank you. I'm strongly considering of taking hits, really just to, add on to the amount of doublers I've got. Um, I think as well, I'm definitely going to be bringing in Eze as my free transfer. And then, I'm thinking whether or not I should bring in a third striker. Tony hasn't really been doing it for me. Neither has Brentford really in general. And in all honesty, I have been trying to apply patience, but yeah, Tony's just been blanking and blanking and blanking. So um, it's him really making me consider. And I said to myself, the Sheffield United game and the Luton game are going to be the, the games that really decide whether or not he should be in or out. So we also have to consider that um, his performance, um, not his performance, Mateta's performance and Cunha's performance as well have been good. So I think they're worth 4 point hit going into this double game week. So yeah, that's why.
Right. No, thanks. I've also noted that you've decided to triple up on the Arsenal defense. Is it because you're really hoping that they're going to get clean sheets, or just take us through your thought process with regards to your Arsenal triple?
Well, the Arsenal triple up honestly was another means of going different, being a differential. So everybody's gonna go triple Arsenal, but they will definitely have Saka. They will have Gabriel, and then they'll have most likely double midfield from Arsenal. So being at the fact that we honestly have a clean sheet pandemic, Arsenal having had the best defense, which I still believe in now, despite the bogey game against Aston Villa. Um, I want to be able to reward myself with triple Arsenal defense and getting those 18 points, not 12 points, no, 18 points. Yeah, when they get a clean sheet, and just like this past weekend as well, uh, when they don't, it's not necessarily a train smash because, like I said, clean sheet pandemic. Everybody else doesn't get a clean sheet, so it's very much works out the same. But like I said, I gain more when they do, and I lose nothing when they don't get a clean sheet.
No, thanks for that. Another thing, I see that you've really kept the faith in KDB. I think you brought him in Game Week 32. If I'm not mistaken, you also gave him the armband. We all know how that would have panned out.
Yeah.
And I still see that you've still got him in your side. Will he be keeping his place for Game Week 34? You've also given him the vice captain. And out of all the City players, I see he's the one player where you've kept your faith. I don't know why, but maybe you can just share your thought process behind that.
No, I mean, look, through the past seasons, KDB, if anything, Man City have shown us that yes, he'll be out for the duration of the season, but they always make sure that he's back for the end of the season, the business end. And it's in that time where he really starts to gather up his points that he could have made during the league, during the season. So I strongly believe that he's going to be having a couple of good games like he did, not the previous one, but the one before. I believe it was against Crystal Palace. I think he had some good through balls to Haaland and other players as well in the Luton game. It was honestly just a shame that they didn't capitalize on those. So it could have worked out, but it just didn't. My luck. But yeah, that's where the notion of KDB comes from. I think in the league, um, he's going to be really carrying the team and making sure that they get things done in the business end.
Right. Well, I really hope he does get things done. Because obviously, as we all know, we all are involved in mini leagues here and there, and it goes without saying that the past couple of game weeks you've been conceding a lot of red arrows. You've been slipping in terms of your overall ranking. You've even slipped in the Banter Boys league, and if I'm not mistaken, Tlatlakulu FC have just recently leapfrogged you, and I know it's something that you've been priding yourself that you've been able to be ahead of that team, but for some odd reason it looks like your team is rather on the downward trend, you know. And in having said that, obviously now you don't have any chips. Now your heart has moved from your chest to your throat. I can see you're sweating profusely. So captaincy is now pretty much your only go-to strategy, you know, whether it's trying to climb the overall rankings or to try and regain your position in the mini league. So, what would your ideal captain be for Game Week 34? And I see that you've also given Salah the armband, you know. So in saying all of this, it's just taking into consideration where you are and the health of your team, or how your team tries to stay afloat and competes with other teams that still have various chips to be used. Thank you.
Eze. Eze. Yeah, I know. It's very funny. It is very funny. But when you look at the fixture ticker, Liverpool is very congested, as well as Arsenal is as well. They're playing almost literally every two days, and you're not even. It's so bad. We're not even sure, considering as well that Salah and them are going to be traveling as well to Italy, and they're also playing away games in London, and then they're going back then to Liverpool. So they don't even have time to train, really. So you have to then ask yourself, with that in mind as well, recovery time, is it going to be enough? Are they even going to play those two games? So you really have to consider that. And that's across Liverpool and Arsenal as well. So they're in Germany tonight, and then they're going to Wolves, and then back to London as well. So with that, you got to think of the performance as well. Is the performance really going to be effective? Yes, Liverpool have the great fixtures, but then again, is a Salah really going to perform, and is a Salah really going to play an average of 180 minutes, or say even 120 minutes, because that's what we really need him to do. Is he really going to perform in those 120 minutes? Then you look at Crystal Palace, you look at Eze's form, and you look at his fixtures, and they beat both Arsenal's and Liverpool's. So they're playing two home games against West Ham and Newcastle. We all know how their defenses have been. So, when you take into consideration that, and him being on penalties as well, the answer leads to Eze. So, being me in the sense of the fact, like you mentioned, captaincy is one of, and maybe the best way I can gain and also push up my margin, and me being differential, Eze is the answer. Eze is the answer.
Well, no, thank you, Killer Squad Manager, and I'm loving the ambition. and I hope that Eze does become your savior, because you definitely need one.
Sorry, so do you have another question for me?
No,
I sense a whole lot of cynical
no, no,
news,
no,
hence
no,
confidence. I can storm out of this press room right now. I
no,
don't
no,
need
no,
this
no, no.
type of attitude. Okay.
It's
All
it's
right.
it's it's just that out of all FPL assets, it's actually funny because you've actually been throwing Eze's name every now and then whenever you're in hot water. And if I recall, earlier on in the season as well, you were backing on him. Um, the results will just show that that didn't work out for you. But hopefully this time around, he will pick up his hand. But thank you very much for answering the questions.
Very well. Thank you. Thank you very much.